First contact and assessment. The massive dreadnought Eternal Dominance slipped into the outer reaches of the Sol system, its stealth systems rendering it virtually invisible to conventional detection methods. Admiral Therax stood on the command bridge, his scaled hands clasped behind his back as he studied the blue-green planet displayed on the main view screen. "Another primitive world for the glory of the Orion Imperium," he rumbled, mandibles clicking with anticipation. "Begin standard assessment protocols." First Officer Krevax approached with a data tablet. "Preliminary scans show a Type II civilization, Admiral. They've barely expanded beyond their home planet, with minimal installations on their moon and a handful of orbital stations. Primitive nuclear fission technology, limited AI capabilities. Estimated resistance potential?" Therax asked, his compound eyes reflecting the light of Earth's oceans. "Minimal. Their military capabilities are fractured among nation-states. No unified planetary defense system detected. Standard conquest timeline estimates 6 solar rotations from first contact to full submission." Therax's mandibles clicked in satisfaction. The Orion Imperium had conquered 300 worlds in the last millennium, assimilating countless species into their hierarchy. Humans would be merely the latest addition to their ever-expanding empire. "Deploy surveillance drones. I want detailed analysis of their defensive capabilities, governmental structures, and resource deposits. We strike in 48 hours. As the surveillance drones detached from the massive warship, none of the Imperium officers noticed the small burst of quantum radiation that pulsed from Earth's direction. Deep beneath the Antarctic ice, in a facility unknown to 99.9% of Earth's population, Dr. Maya Rodriguez stared at her monitor with growing alarm. "Director Chen, quantum displacement sensors have detected a massive object entering the Kuiper belt," she reported, her fingers flying across the holographic interface. "Energy signature matches nothing in our database, but the mass and configuration suggest an artificial structure. Definitely not natural." Director Ilara Chen approached the monitoring station, her expression grim. "How long until they reach Earth orbit?" "At current velocity, approximately 48 hours. Chen nodded, then pressed her palm against a biometric scanner. "Initiate Protocol Sentinel. Alert all council members. Priority Alpha." Throughout the hidden facility, alarms began to sound. Not the wailing klaxons of old disaster movies, but a soft, persistent tone that nonetheless sent the 100-plus personnel into immediate action. Status boards shifted from green to amber as complex defense systems began powering up after decades of dormancy. Chen entered a secure communications room, where a circular table surrounded by 12 chairs awaited. One by one, the screens around the room flickered to life, showing the faces of the Earth Defense Council, 12 individuals representing every continent, selected not for political affiliation but for expertise and temperament. "Ladies and gentlemen," Chen began once all were connected. "First contact protocol has been initiated. We have a Class 1 incursion event. Unknown vessel, massive energy signature, currently decelerating at the edge of our solar system. Hostile or exploratory?" asked General Okonkwo from the African Union Defense Force. "Unknown, but the approach vector and stealth configuration suggest military intent," Chen replied. "We're detecting what appear to be smaller craft deploying from the main vessel. Are the Aegis systems operational?" This from Dr. Samir Patel, the quantum physics specialist who had designed much of Earth's hidden defensive technology. "Coming online now," Chen confirmed. "But we need to remember, our actual defensive capabilities remain limited compared to what a spacefaring civilization might possess. The deception protocol may be our best option." The council members exchanged somber glances. For 50 years, since the recovery of an alien scout ship in the Gobi Desert, humanity had been preparing for this moment. Not with massive fleets or planet-destroying weapons. Earth lacked the resources and technology for such endeavors, but with something potentially more powerful: information and deception. "Begin Phantom Shield deployment," Chen ordered. "And alert Professor Nakamura. We'll need her linguistic expertise if we're going to communicate. Drone Commander Ziltek studied the incoming data with growing confusion. Admiral, I'm detecting anomalies in our surveillance patterns. Thorax moved to the drone control station. Explain. 3 of our surveillance units have gone offline after approaching what appeared to be an orbital defense platform. However, before transmission ceased, they detected energy signatures inconsistent with the civilization's apparent technological level. Show me, Thorax ordered. The view screen displayed a seemingly ordinary Earth satellite, a primitive construction of solar panels and communication arrays. But overlaid on the image were energy readings that made Thorax's scales bristle with concern. These energy patterns, they resemble phase shift shielding technology. That's at least level 4 technology, possibly level 5. First Officer Krevax leaned closer to the display. Could it be a malfunction in our sensors? 3 drones, 3 separate malfunctions. Thorax's mandibles clicked rapidly, a sign of agitation among his species. Deploy a Class B probe. Full spectrum analysis. The more sophisticated probe launched from the Eternal Dominance, streaking toward Earth's orbit. As it approached the planet's moon, its sensors detected what appeared to be extensive underground installations, structures that had been invisible to initial scans. Admiral, Ziltax reported, the probe is detecting artificial structures beneath the lunar surface. Massive power signatures, consistent with antimatter containment systems. Impossible, Krevax hissed. Our intelligence indicated this species hasn't even mastered fusion power, let alone antimatter containment. Before Thorax could respond, the probe's transmission abruptly terminated. The view screen showed only static. What happened? Thorax demanded. Unknown, Admiral. No energy discharge detected. The probe simply ceased to exist. Thorax's compound eyes narrowed as he studied the last transmission from the probe. Recalibrate our long-range sensors. Full spectrum scan of the entire system. As new data began flowing into the bridge displays, the atmosphere among the Imperium officers grew increasingly tense. What had appeared to be a simple conquest was rapidly becoming something far more complex. Admiral, the sensor officer reported, we're detecting what appears to be a network of quantum entanglement communications nodes throughout their system. And there's something else. She manipulated the controls, highlighting a pattern of energy signatures around Earth. These energy patterns suggest a planetary defense shield far beyond Type 2 capabilities. Thorax stared at the display, mandibles clicking slowly as he processed this information. In 3 centuries of conquest, the Imperium had occasionally encountered civilizations that had advanced more rapidly than initial intelligence suggested, but never had they found a primitive-appearing world with such sophisticated defenses hidden beneath the surface. It appears, he said slowly, that we may have underestimated these humans. In the Antarctic Command Center, Dr. Ilara Chen watched as the alien probe disintegrated upon encountering the quantum displacement field surrounding the lunar outpost. Phantom shield projectors are functioning at optimal levels, reported Dr. Pottle. Our quantum entanglement grid is successfully projecting the illusion of advanced defense systems throughout near-Earth space. Chen nodded. And the linguistic analysis. Professor Nakamura looked up from her station. We've intercepted enough of their communications to begin constructing a translation matrix. Their language appears to be based on a complex system of clicks and electromagnetic pulses. I'll need another hour to complete a basic communication protocol. You have 30 minutes, Chen replied. I want to be ready when they attempt direct contact. General Okonkwo's face appeared on a side screen. The kinetic defense systems are prepared. If they launch an attack, we can deploy the orbital railguns. Let's hope it doesn't come to that, Chen said grimly. Our actual defensive capabilities, while significant, are nowhere near what we're projecting through the Phantom Shield. If they call our bluff with a full-scale assault. She let the sentence hang unfinished. Everyone in the facility understood the stakes. Humanity's greatest defense wasn't firepower, but the perception of firepower. a sophisticated illusion created through limited but strategically deployed quantum technology, salvaged and reverse-engineered from the crashed alien vessel discovered 5 decades earlier. Director called one of the sensor technicians. The alien vessel is moving. They changed course and are approaching Earth directly. Chen took a deep breath. This is it. Preparation is over. First contact begins now. The main view screen showed the massive alien dreadnought as it moved with surprising grace for its size, emerging from the shadow of Neptune and accelerating toward Earth. Despite the danger, Chen couldn't help feeling a moment of awe. Professor Nakamura, prepare the communication package. General Okonkwo, maintain defensive posture, but no aggressive actions unless directly fired upon. Dr. Patel, increase power to the phantom shield projectors. Let's make sure they see exactly what we want them to see. Around the world, in 12 similar facilities buried deep beneath the Earth's surface, the members of the Earth Defense Council activated systems that had been waiting for this moment for 50 years. Quantum projectors created the illusion of massive planetary defenses. Holographic emitters on the far side of the moon simulated a bustling colony with antimatter power plants. And in orbit, seemingly ordinary satellites began emitting energy signatures that suggested weapons far beyond humanity's actual capabilities. It was the greatest bluff in human history, and the survival of the species depended on whether the aliens would believe it. The ultimate gambit. Admiral Therax studied the holographic representation of Earth's defenses with growing unease. What had initially appeared to be a primitive world suitable for rapid conquest now presented a puzzling array of advanced technologies. Technologies that, according to Imperium intelligence, the humans should not possess. Your assessment, Science Officer Molrax, he asked. The slender alien manipulated the holographic display, highlighting various anomalies. The data is inconsistent, Admiral. The humans' visible infrastructure suggests early space-age development. Chemical rockets, primitive orbital stations, limited lunar presence. Yet our sensors detect energy signatures consistent with quantum shielding, antimatter power generation, and possible faster-than-light communications. Could they have acquired this technology from another species? First Officer Krevax suggested. Possible, but unlikely, Molrax replied. We've monitored this sector for centuries. No known advanced civilizations have approached this system. Therax's mandibles clicked slowly, a sign of deep thought among his species. There is another possibility. The humans could be deliberately presenting a primitive facade while concealing their true capabilities. A deception. Krevax seemed skeptical. For what purpose? To avoid attention from species like us, Therax said grimly. It would be a clever strategy. Appear harmless until threatened, then reveal enough advanced technology to make conquest seem too costly. Before the discussion could continue, Communications Officer Ziltax interrupted. Admiral, we're receiving a transmission from the planet. It's directed specifically at our command frequencies. Therax's compound eyes widened slightly. How could they know our secure communication bands? Unknown, sir. But the signal is perfectly formatted for our receivers. Put it through, Therax ordered after a moment's hesitation. The main view screen flickered, then displayed a human female standing before what appeared to be a sophisticated command center. More disturbing than the security breach was the fact that the transmission was optimized for Orion visual receptors, using color spectrums and perspective shifts that accommodated their compound eyes. Greetings, Admiral Therax of the Orion Imperium vessel Eternal Dominance, the human said in flawless imperial speech, her vocal patterns precisely modulated to match the clicking language of the Orions. I am Director Ilara Chen of Earth's Unified Defense Council. We have been monitoring your approach and the deployment of your surveillance drones. A murmur of shock rippled through the bridge crew. Not only had the humans detected their stealth vessel, but they somehow knew the Admiral's name and the ship's designation, information that should have been impossible for them to obtain. Therax recovered quickly. How have you acquired this knowledge of our language and communication systems? The human's expression remained calm. We have been aware of the Orion Imperium for quite some time, Admiral. Your scout vessel that crashed in our Gobi Desert 50 Earth years ago provided us with valuable insights into your technology, biology, and cultural patterns. Thorax clicked rapidly in alarm. The scout vessel had been reported lost during a routine expansion survey, its fate unknown. If the humans had recovered and studied it, your civilization appears to have advanced far beyond our intelligence reports. Thorax acknowledged, deciding that directness might be the wisest approach. Why maintain the appearance of a primitive society? A necessary precaution, Chen replied. Earth has observed the Imperium's pattern of conquest. Worlds that openly display advanced technology become targets for assimilation. Those that appear primitive are often overlooked or scheduled for later conquest. We chose to hide in plain sight. In the Antarctic Command Center, Dr. Chen maintained her composed expression despite the tension gripping her entire body. Behind her, outside the alien's visual field, Professor Nakamura frantically adjusted the translation matrix, while Dr. Patel monitored the phantom shield projectors that were creating the illusion of a far more advanced command center than actually existed. "He's buying it," whispered General Okonkwo through her earpiece. "But we need to be prepared if they decide to test our defenses directly." Chen gave no indication she'd heard, keeping her attention focused on the alien admiral. Their entire strategy hinged on convincing the Orions that attacking Earth would be too costly, despite humanity's actual defensive capabilities being far more limited than what they were projecting. "We have no desire for conflict, Admiral Thorax," she continued. "Earth seeks peaceful coexistence with all sentient species. However," she paused, letting her next words carry weight, "we are prepared to defend ourselves if necessary." "A commendable position," Thorax replied, his clicking speech perfectly translated by the systems Professor Nakamura had developed. "However, the Orion Imperium requires certainty about potential threats within its expansion zone. Your hidden capabilities represent an unknown variable." Chen recognized the implicit threat. The Orions wouldn't leave without either conquering Earth or confirming that humans posed no threat to their empire. Their bluff was about to be called. She gave a subtle hand signal, and Dr. Patil activated the final phase of their deception protocol. "Perhaps a demonstration would alleviate your concerns," Chen suggested. "Please observe your tactical display." On the bridge of the Eternal Dominance, alarm klaxons suddenly blared as the tactical officer reported, "Admiral, energy surge detected near the human's moon." Thorax whirled toward the display just in time to see what appeared to be a massive weapons platform emerging from the lunar surface. Before he could issue orders, a beam of coherent energy lanced out from the moon, striking an uninhabited asteroid in the belt between Mars and Jupiter. The asteroid, nearly 2 kilometers in diameter, simply vanished, leaving no debris field, no energy signature, nothing. "Quantum displacement technology," Science Officer Molrax whispered in awe. "They've developed the ability to remove objects from space-time completely." Thorax stared at the display, his species equivalent of shock evident in his rigid posture. Such technology was theoretical even to the Imperium's most advanced scientists. If the humans could deploy it as a weapon— "Admiral," First Officer Krivax urged, "we should withdraw and report this to the Imperial Council. This civilization possesses technology far beyond our classification system." Before Thorax could respond, the human director spoke again. "That was merely one of our defense systems, Admiral. We have others we would prefer not to demonstrate. The device you just witnessed can target objects with precision anywhere within our solar system." The implication was clear. The Eternal Dominance, despite its size and power, could be erased from existence with a single command. In the Antarctic facility, Chen struggled to maintain her composure. The demonstration had been their most sophisticated deception yet. A combination of holographic projection and a surgically placed antimatter charge on the asteroid. detonated with perfect timing to create the illusion of quantum displacement technology that humanity was still decades from actually developing. If the Orions demanded another demonstration, or worse, attacked to test Earth's defenses, the game would be over. They had one final card to play. "Admiral Therax," Chen said, "there is something else you should understand about humanity. Something that explains our unique approach to technological development." She nodded to Dr. Patel, who activated a data transmission to the Orion vessel. "What you're receiving is information about human history. Unlike most species the Imperium has encountered, humans evolved not through cooperation, but through competition. Our technological development has been driven not by orderly progress, but by conflict. In just the past century, we advanced from primitive flight to landing on our moon, from simple radio to quantum communications. Such rapid advancement is unusual," Therax acknowledged. "Now imagine," Chen continued, "what would happen if humanity felt genuinely threatened by an external force. The full creative and destructive potential of billions of individuals suddenly focused on a single goal, survival." She leaned forward slightly. "The technologies you've witnessed represent only a fraction of what we've developed since recovering your scout ship. Should the Imperium choose conflict, I cannot predict what new weapons humanity might create in response. Only that our species has a remarkable history of innovation when faced with extinction." Therax felt a sensation unfamiliar to his species: doubt. The Orion Imperium had conquered hundreds of worlds through superior technology and overwhelming force. But they had never encountered a species that developed so rapidly, nor one that seemed to possess both advanced technology and the wisdom to conceal it. "You propose an alternative to conflict?" he asked finally. "A treaty," Chen replied promptly. "Earth remains independent, outside the Imperium's control. In exchange, we share certain non-military technologies we've developed: medical advances, sustainable energy systems, terraforming techniques, and we establish regular diplomatic contact to prevent future misunderstandings." Therax considered this proposal. The Imperium's protocols were clear. Worlds were to be conquered or destroyed, not negotiated with. Yet those protocols had never encountered a situation quite like this. "You understand that I lack authority to accept such terms without consulting the Imperial Council," he said carefully. "Of course," Chen nodded. "We are prepared to receive an official delegation at a neutral location within our system. In the meantime, we trust the Eternal Dominance will maintain its current position as a gesture of peaceful intent." The implied threat was subtle but clear. Any aggressive movement would be met with the same technology that had apparently erased the asteroid. Therax made his decision. "I will consult with the Imperial Council. Until then, we will maintain position and cease all surveillance activities." The transmission ended, and Therax turned to his officers. "Prepare a full report for the Council. Include all sensor data regarding their defensive capabilities." "Your recommendation, Admiral?" Krivax asked quietly. Therax's mandibles clicked thoughtfully. "In 3 centuries of service to the Imperium, I have never encountered a species quite like these humans. Their deceptive strategy alone demonstrates a cunning we would be unwise to underestimate." He gestured toward the blue planet on the view screen. "The Imperium expands through conquest of the weak and assimilation of the strong. These humans, they may prove valuable allies rather than conquered subjects." In the Antarctic facility, the transmission ended, and Dr. Chen finally allowed herself to exhale. Around her, the command staff remained silent, the tension in the room almost palpable. "Did they buy it?" General Okonkwo asked finally. "For now," Chen replied. "But the real work begins now. We have perhaps days before they realize our bluff, that many of our advanced defenses are sophisticated projections rather than actual weapons." Professor Nakamura looked up from her station. "Unless what?" Chen asked. "Unless we make them real," Nakamura said simply. "The quantum displacement technology we simulated. Dr. Patel's team has the theoretical framework. With global resources and focus, We might actually develop a working prototype within months, not decades. Dr. Patel nodded slowly. The professor is right. Many of our projected technologies aren't impossible, just beyond our current capabilities. But with the motivation of survival, Chen looked around at the assembled scientists, military officers, and specialists, representatives of humanity's best minds, brought together by the threat of extinction. "Then we better get to work," she said. "The greatest deception in human history bought us time. Now we need to make sure we use it wisely." As the team dispersed to their stations, Chen remained alone, staring at the image of the massive alien vessel hovering at the edge of Earth's orbit. For the first time in recorded history, humanity had united behind a single purpose, setting aside ancient rivalries and conflicts in the face of an external threat. Perhaps, she thought with grim irony, the Orion Imperium had given humanity an invaluable gift, the push needed to fulfill their true potential. And when the aliens returned, they would find not the illusion of an advanced civilization, but the reality. Earth would be ready.